Hey everybody, this is Dimensions of the Supernatural. I am Maureen Grodzinski, otherwise known as A Little Witchy. I'm here with my fantastic co-host Anthony Simonelli, otherwise known as.
Hey, forget about it. How you doing tonight?
Thanks everybody for being here. We are going to do something a little bit different tonight, and I want to give a shout out to our good friend Ron Iacovetti. This is where things change.
Fading to black.
Tell us what you think. We want to know.
I think it's awesome. I know. Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
So, hi to everybody in the comment section. I know we saw Bobby and Ron and Jenny and Alyssa and Ufi and all of our usuals. Tonight, we have a really cool guest, kind of some different stuff than what we're used to. Thanks, Jenny. Mike Familont. He is here to talk to us about Bigfooting. Stuff than what we're used to. Thanks, Jenny. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how's everybody
Hey.
doing? Thanks for having me.
Very good. We're glad you got your coffee in while we were showing our new beginning.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I got my usual
There you go.
caffeine.
Yeah. Got my.
Mr. Forget About It is kind of disappearing there, but
It's a hangover cup. What it says in the back, it says, "Ready for your next paranormal hangover."
Nice.
oh, hi guys. So we're here to talk to you about Bigfoot. But before we start with that, your regular, or I can't even talk today, regular life, I think it's the caffeine, it's like speeding up my mouth. Your regular life includes work as an EMT, a firefighter, graphic designer, all that smashed into one.
Yeah, no, actually, it's not. That's actually a past life of mine. I used to do all that good stuff. Now I do Bigfooting full time. I'm
Okay.
a full time Bigfoot researcher.
I thought that was your full-time work and you're kind of saying that that's your full-time job, like here.
Oh no, yeah, no. I physically am out in the physically I'm camping.
Awesome.
I think I camped 129 nights this year in 2023. So full time
man.
occupation.
I'm
Very
jealous.
cool.
So jealous. I love camping. Yeah.
So
Out in the woods.
what made you decide to get rid of the daily grind and do that full time?
Oh well, it I was never one to have like a 9 to 5 type thing. So that was off the table. Did the whole EMT work for a long time, like 13 years, and that kind of took a toll on me mentally and physically. So I wanted to get out of that profession, and then COVID happened, right? And then that was a perfect time for me to be like, well, let's start really thinking about doing this full time. And I started now what I do to fund my life or my expeditions or whatever is I speak at libraries during the day, and they fund my trips to camp at national parks or state forests or whatever at night and film my show looking for Bigfoot.
That is so amazing. That's like the best job ever.
You got a dream that a lot of people want to have.
Hey, I don't know how I fell into it, and I have no idea how long it's gonna last, but I'm gonna ride it for every last little second I can. That's for sure.
Yeah. I
It's like every kid's dream to say, I'm getting paid to talk about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But it's not a lot. Okay, you'd be surprised. People are surprised when I tell them that Bigfoot researchers do not get paid a lot of money.
Need paranormal investigators, so
You
No,
really,
same boat. Same
you
boat.
really wouldn't think so, though. I mean, unless you're Josh Gates, but you
Yeah.
know, but as long as you can pay your bills and have a little bit left over, that's really what matters. You know, you're doing
Yeah.
what you really love to do. I mean, you're not going into a 9 to 5 when you're hearing, "Do you want to come in tomorrow? It's a Saturday," you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, my life consists of what mountain do I want to climb tomorrow? Is that type of thing.
That's
That's
awesome.
really awesome.
Yeah, you got a life. A lot of people will like to have. You know, be able to go and do what you enjoy. I don't you think I would love to be a full time paranormal investigator? You know, just go out and every weekend and find something. You know, get some evidence. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, there's a, and not everybody can do it. I know, I kind of fell into this time in my life where I don't have any necessarily, I don't have any kids, I'm not married,
Mhm.
that kind of thing, so I don't have any real obligations that keep me, in a location anywhere, so I can go pretty much wherever I want to. And financially, as long as I can keep gas in the car to get to these library presentations, then
Mhm.
I get to see all these amazing places along the way. That's payment enough for me.
See, Anthony, there's the real truth. That's why he's able to do it. Not married, no kids.
Yeah, no obligation. Well, I mean, even with married and kids, I don't think I'd rather be out in the woods after so many years being married and with kids. I'd rather sit out with, with a Bigfoot family sometimes, But yeah, that's awesome. I mean, how did you get into this? I mean, Bigfoot research and all that stuff. I know everybody in the paranormal field has a story that led them to what they do today. How did you get yours?
And that's the same. It's the same kind of thing with Bigfooting. Everybody has their own story. Either you get into Bigfooting, A, because something happened to you, or B, because you want to disprove it. Those are the two reasons why people really get into Bigfooting. Um, for me, it was something happened to me, and it happened in North Florida. I was there on a Bigfoot expedition, actually looking for Bigfoot in the middle of the woods with like a bunch of other people there. And there was I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you the whole story. So I was working at a beach resort, Sarasota, Florida, right? Best
Mhm.
job ever had before, besides this Bigfoot research thing that I'm doing now, because that's pretty cool. But Sarasota, Florida, I was watching Finding Bigfoot on TV, right?
Mhm.
And they said, "Hey, if you want to come out with us, all you got to do is pay this ridiculous amount of money and sign your life away, and you can come out with us." And I was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool! I'm definitely doing this." You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah,
I was
especially starting your
engaged.
life away. Hey.
Yeah, hey, I was engaged at the time, right? And I was like 22. Did not tell my fiance what we were doing. This is going to be like a pre-wedding kind of surprise thing, right? And so anyways, I started. This is my first time ever camping in the woods. I'd never been camping before, so like I had to acquire all my camping gear, like my tent, my sleeping bag, and I was like hiding it from my fiance. And finally, she cleaned the house one day, shocking, and she found it. And she's like, "Mike, what are we doing? Why do we have all this camping stuff?" And I said, "Hun, we're gonna go to North Florida and look for Bigfoot, right?" Yeah, and then we broke up. So that happened.
You might want to find out from your fiance or partner, whomever you're with, if they want to go camping first.
Yeah, that was my bad. That was my bad on that one. Yeah. Uh, anyways, so broke up. I moved to Tampa, got a job working on the ambulance for the city. And I picked. I had three partners on the ambulance, right? So I picked my weirdest partner. That's how I did it. And I said, Jimmy, I got this non-refundable. I found out the tickets were non-refundable trip to North Florida to look for Bigfoot. Do you want to come with me? And he said, and he's my best friend to this day. He said, "Oh, I've always wanted to do that." I said, "Awesome, nice, right?" So awesome, perfect. We go up to North Florida, 3 nights, 4 days of camping, hiking, talking to Bigfoot witnesses, camping with like 60 other people. I'm like, how are we gonna find Bigfoot with 60 other people here? This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, nothing happened. Long story short, nothing happened. We ended up finding a Florida panther footprint, which is really cool. Because there's at the time there were only like 12 of them or like 25 of them left in the wild, which is
Oh,
really
wow.
awesome. Yeah. But nothing squatchy happened until the last night. Jimmy and I, we were sitting by a campfire, and we were kind of like secluded off. We camped away from these 60 other people because like this was our first camping thing. We thought everybody was going to be weird, right? So we just kind of camped kind of far away from them. And uh, we heard it was like 2 in the morning, and we hear a tree knock, bam, come from one side of camp. And I didn't think anything of it. Jimmy didn't think anything of it. He's like, "Oh, did you hear that?" And I said, "Oh yeah, it sounded like a tree knock." Whatever. And then, bam! About 5 minutes later, a tree knock from the complete opposite direction. So I thought it was these people that put on the expedition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought they were hoaxing us and knocking on trees to try to like get our money's worth because we paid a lot of money to go on this expedition. Um, Anyways, so didn't think anything of it. About 5 minutes later, you hear come crashing down through the forest, plunk, a fist-sized rock, just like this, right? Uh, and it was at that it landed about 5 feet from us, and it was at that point in my life where I said, "Nope, this is how horror movies start. I am getting out of here," right? And so I was, and my buddy Jimmy, he was like, "Well, if you want to sleep in the car, you're more than welcome to sleep in the." And by the time he said that, I had my camping gear, my sleep bag, and I was just beelining it right to the car. So he finally talked some sense into me, and he came to the car. He's like, "Mike, Bigfoot knock on trees and they throw rocks. This could be squatchy activity that we're having." So I was like, "Yeah, you're right." And we went back out by the campfire, and over the course of the next 15 or so minutes, 4 more of these fist-sized rocks came down and landed 5 to 10 feet from our campfire, right?
Mm. Wow.
So,
Are they known to throw rocks?
yes, they're known
Okay.
to knock on trees, they're known to throw rocks.
Mhm.
So my buddy, we were very new to this whole thing. My buddy, he's like, "I got an idea. I'm going to throw a rock back at it." So he takes a rock and he tosses it, he throws it as hard as he can back into that direction, right? And that the rocks were coming from. And I knew it wasn't a person because about 2 seconds later, a 15-pound laptop-sized boulder came crashing down through the canopy of the trees
Oh
and
my.
landed 10 feet from our campfire.
Oh,
So
wow. Those things are
that was
usually
our
heavy. That's heavy stuff.
that's outside of human range. No
Yeah.
way that person could have did that. No. So the next morning we did we asked our neighbors, "Hey, did anybody hear anything?" Nobody heard anything, right? Or saw anything that night. And then we did a little recreation because we wanted to be all scientific and stuff, right?
Mhm.
So we did like a science like a little science experiment to measure how far that thing could have been to us,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And the closest the thing could have been was like 75 yards away. So I don't know what that could have been, unless Nolan Ryan's chucking boulders in the middle of the woods at night. I don't know what's going on.
Man, that sounds.
Yeah.
I mean, sounds like an experience, and that's what got you on your path to start going and continuing. You know.
That's it. And then after that, we quickly became obsessed with the whole Bigfoot phenomenon. And yeah, then we really grasped onto it. We looked up hot spots. We looked up researchers. We talked to witnesses, everything we can get our hands on. And then we about 3 weeks later we decided that we're professionals, and we went in the woods solo, and we had our second encounter, which is pretty cool.
So what happened that time?
Oh, that was cool. We were out there for one night. We're in the Green Swamp, which is in a big hunting preserve in Central Florida, and we were out there for one night, and I was doing Bigfoot calls like it was my job. Like I was doing them every 2 seconds, right? Anything with a brain would know that there's two idiots running through the woods making these sounds, right? And anything with a brain probably would have got out of the area, right? Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we're walking through the woods about 2 miles from camp. I'm doing hooting and hollering and doing all this good stuff. And my buddy, I'm with Jimmy again, right? He's not scared at all. He's got his 6-foot machete and his 10 million lumen spotlight that he's got shining around, right? And he's shining it, and it comes across two pairs of eyes. One's a red color eye shine looking back at us, and one's like an aqua blue color eye shine looking back at us. So we, in our infinite wisdom, we thought it was people. We didn't realize that people don't have eye shine. We can't see at night, right? So we don't have eye shine. So we start yelling out, "Hey, we're just looking for Bigfoot. Sorry," you know? And it was just dead silence staring back at us, right? And then we yell again, "Hey, we're just going back to camp. Like, sorry, not a big deal." We thought they were poachers, illegally poaching like hogs or something at night. And just those eyes, just dead, just looking back at us. And then the one set, the red set, turns and looks at the blue set, turns and looks back at us, and then blinks. Nope, out of there again, right? My buddy Jimmy, he put a notch in the tree, right? So we knew exactly where, with his machete, so we knew exactly where to go back to the next day. We went back the next day, did some recreations and some measurements, and like we did the pictures and put our hands up and stuff, and the eyes were at like 7.5 feet tall. So that was just another thing that yeah, we came across. And then from there it was just like game on type of thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, like you said, you were an experience, so you didn't know about the eye shine with human beings and creatures, at the night, like animals or anything like that. So I was a scoutmaster for 14 years. So that's why I know a little bit about the woods.
Yeah.
But I never came across the Bigfoot with the kids. That's awesome.
So they're definitely not like, they're not people-ish. They're definitely
They're kind of. I mean, they're people-esque. They're people-esque, I guess, if you will. But they're not. I don't think they're a person. But I don't think they're a primate either. I think they're kind of a mix of the two. I think they're kind of like a pre-Neanderthal type thing. I think they're like an ancient species, and a very very primitive species that kind of our evolutionary path. I hate to bring the E word into it, but that pathway kind of took us one way, where I think the Bigfoot or the Sasquatch, that being creature, if you will, kind of went a different way, but still did the same, kind of took the same land bridge that we did, migrated over from where they were into North America and stuff like that. And it's not hard to think that a species could have survived like us, and just with a low population, we just don't know about it.
Yeah. I believe in that too, because at one time they do have proof and evidence of humans like what we are today, and like a primate type of creature. There is a name of it, but it was like a caveman, and they just vanished, and we are what we are today. But they said that they just vanished off the earth at that time.
I feel maybe the one that lived in the cave, that it started, like, did it start with a V or something like that? It was kind of like not human, but not Neanderthal, but it was like a combination of the two. Yeah. And they're saying that's how humans
and
actually.
They had hair and everything. I feel that they went their own way. Maybe they disappear in the woods. Maybe they went underground. That's why we don't see them. There might be a whole species of these beings or creatures or whatever they might be underground. You never, yeah, I mean, there's so many pieces of this, so many places on this earth that we haven't stepped foot on. So, maybe there's tunnel waves that, goes from one
Yeah,
place to the next place.
there's
And,
yeah, I'm not one that says I don't think that Bigfoot necessarily spend a majority of their time underneath ground or in caves or in tunnels
Mhm.
or anything like that, because it just wouldn't make any sense to me with the way that I think these creatures live. But it's not to say that they can't go from one place to another using the cave system for
yeah,
sure to evade humans. Absolutely.
yeah.
Why not?
I
And
feel
to
they're
get out
very
of like
intelligent.
weather and in the just like other animals do, they get out of the snow and the rain stuff. Sure,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Did you ever get any audible, anything, any of their screams or this,
Oh
them
yeah,
like communicating amongst each other? Because I feel they can. I
yeah,
feel all
definitely.
animals can. That's because they don't speak our language or any language that we know. I feel every animal, everything could be. They have some sort of communication between them. You know. And did
Yeah,
you
no,
ever
I
catch anything like that?
yeah, we got a couple different pieces of audio evidence. One is from the Catskill Mountains in New York, which is pretty cool,
Wow.
up in the Slide Mountain Wilderness area. And then we also got one from High Point State Park over in northwestern New Jersey.
Hmm.
That's kind of my backyard. I'm from New Jersey, so I do a lot of investigation there. But what's really interesting about it is this audio clip that I got from High Point State Park in New Jersey. I did a barred owl call, which is a local owl species,
Okay.
and the call goes wah 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 type of thing, right? And so I did that call, except a lot louder. And the Bigfoot about 5 seconds later answered me, and he did a series of three howls. Um, and so we got this on audio recording, and like I do any of my evidence, I sent it away to a linguist from the military who actually does
Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot research on the side. So he's like
Oh, wow.
perfect for analyzing audio, right?
Hmm.
And he came back with this like 5-page report that said because X, Y, and Z, this is like outside of human range and no known animal for northwestern New Jersey. So that's pretty neat.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I know I've seen some of your prints that you got. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got him. If you want me to show you a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd
that'd
be
be great.
awesome.
In the meantime, while you're getting those ready, Ron wants to know: is there any way to know the average lifespan of a Bigfoot?
That's a great question. Ron is on the ball when it comes to questions. That's a really good question. Um, Here's the thing. I think Bigfoot's their lifespan is going to be the same as like ancient humans used to be. So you got to think, what killed people? Why did we die before we had modern, no, not even modern, but primitive medicine and primitive tools and stuff that would
Mhm.
help us to like doctors and stuff like that, right? And the answer to that is infection from tooth decay, uh,
Mhm.
sepsis from tooth decay. So I think that's why Bigfoots die. When they die of natural causes, I think it would be from sepsis or some sort of infection, probably due to some sort of tooth decay because they don't have
Mhm.
dentists. They can't pull teeth like that. Um, and I think that would last around about 60 years, 60-ish year mark. So I
Oh,
think they live a decent amount of time, longer than most primates do. Primates in captivity will live about that long, especially their great apes will. So
Mhm.
that's interesting, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because even with us as human beings, at 40 years old, we were old back in the
Oh yeah,
eighteen
back in the
hundreds,
day,
even
sure.
not like today. But we try to keep young.
I don't know.
So
When I was young, I thought that like my grandmother was old and she was like 60.
My
Hey, I
grandma was
feel
like,
old and I'm 34. All right. Like I just did a hike and I'm like, oh my God, I'm hurting my back.
Yeah. Well, I look back and now I think, well, I'm not that far off from her age, and I would kill somebody if they said, "Hey, you look old." Although I do think that it depends upon. We were having a conversation about this back then. They dressed older, they acted older. I think that has a lot to
True.
do with it too. But 60 back then, that was probably like really good for somebody to
Yeah,
exist
yeah.
that long.
Right, right. And I'm not saying, and that's just a guesstimate. We don't have, anything. And I should have prefaced this by saying, nobody's an expert when it comes to Bigfoot. Everything that I say is just my opinion tonight, and that's, I could be
Mhm.
totally, totally wrong. I'm just taking random guesses, but the guesses are from the evidence that I found.
Mhm.
So,
And this is not our opinion either. We don't want to get sued. But no, I mean, like even at like the time of Christ, it was what 30 or 40.
Mm,
Well, yeah,
I think they were saying like people only lived till they were like 30 or 40 years old or something.
yeah. Well,
yeah.
40 years old was like back then was old.
But that's because everyone was at
That's
war.
why I got married young. You know what I mean? 13 years old to get married because
But
that was back then. But now it's
don't,
different.
don't you think that's the case though? Like during the time of Christ, people were living to 30 or 40, but it was because everyone was at war because of religion. Like
Yeah.
it was nothing to get stabbed over what you believed in.
So you have your the prints. I'm
Yeah,
very
I'll show you
interested.
guys
These were
two
interesting.
very interesting ones. This first one is my favorite. It was taken from Sparta, New Jersey, which is my hometown, and you can kind of see
So
it a
I'm gonna
little
see if I
bit.
could like blow your window up a little bit. Let me see if I can.
Oh, okay.
Nope,
Whoops,
You blew up the
that's
that's
wrong
you.
window.
definitely not what I want to do. How the heck do I do this? Okay, wait, hang on.
Just to knock them off.
Yeah, don't boot me.
It's like,
No,
whoops.
I'm not gonna do that.
And you got the right thing in your hand to get booted with. A foot.
Shift.
Well,
So I
so
should try to do that.
yeah,
This cast was found in Sparta Mountain Wildlife Management Area in oh, there we go, in Sussex County, New Jersey. It was found on a trail, but about 2 miles down from the nearest trailhead in February. I was wearing winter clothes when this was taken.
mm,
It had rained the day prior to this, or 2 days. I'm sorry, 2 days prior to when this was found. So it makes it very intriguing. I only found one. There was another possible impression that was by it, about 40 inches away from it, but I didn't see. It was only a heel print. If anything, it could have been
mm.
anything. Found around this were bear prints, but they were obviously different sizes, and you
Yeah,
could tell the
toes on
difference
that.
between a bear print and a human print. This obviously looks more bipedal human than it does bear.
Hmm.
There are no claw marks, which would indicate that it would not be a bear, right?
Hmm.
Um, Anyways, it's really cool. It's not outside of human range. It's not super big,
Hmm.
so but you could tell as a Bigfoot researcher, what we do is we look for a couple different things when it comes to Bigfoot footprints, right?
Hmm.
So the first thing we look for is called toe splay, and I'm gonna actually get a different cast here. This cast comes from Walla Walla, Washington. It's a little bit bigger. This is a little more impressive. It's definitely I think a male Sasquatch. But as I was saying, the first thing we look for here is called toe splay. As you can see, the toes here. As humans, we wear shoes and socks our entire lives, right?
Hmm.
So our toes are pushed together like this.
Hmm.
Bigfoot's footprints aren't. Their toes or digits are splayed out a little bit, so we call it toe splay. So that's something first to look for. And on this cast, which I showed you just a second ago, is blatantly obvious that toe splay there is definitely huge. So that checks off that
Yes.
this one is definitely looking swatchy.
Right.
Second thing we look for is as humans. Let me get my handy dandy human track out here.
Can you imagine those poor women squatchies who are trying to look for like stiletto heels?
Oh, yeah. So this is my footprint here. And as you can see, my toes are very, like we just said, are very pushed together. Second thing we look for is, when you go walking on the sand on the beach, you leave that crescent shaped thing. That's called your your longitudinal arch. So that's down here. Bigfoot does not have one of them. Bigfoot's footprint is extremely
That's
flat.
flat.
Yes, extremely very flat. There's no thing. The third thing we look for, and the most important thing, is you turn the cast and put it sideways like this. You see how you see the little ridge line here. That's in your, like, right by your toes, right? And then the rest of your footprint is very flat, right?
Yes.
For the most part, I think everybody can almost see that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your heel raises up just a tad bit, but nothing crazy. This is Bigfoot's footprint, and I'm going to turn it the same way as his toes here. And then you go down looking, and what is this thing?
It's just like...
That is called your longitudinal, or I'm sorry, your mid-tarsal break. And there's your heel down there. This is a hinge in Bigfoot's foot that he has, or it has, that we do not have, which is really super interesting. And this one, as casted in Sparta, does not show a clear indicator of that. However, it does show it particularly forming a little bit, as this isn't a full-grown adult Sasquatch. This is more of a teenage Sasquatch, so I don't think it's fully developed yet, that break that's in their foot.
That's funny because earlier I was going to say that kind of looks like a baby Sasquatch foot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely not a full-grown. It's not a baby. We found baby footprints before. Let me find them real quick for you. They should be on top. I don't know why they're not.
What's also interesting, if you look at the toes, they kind of just go straight across. They're kind of like Fred Flintstone feet. Whereas our toes are they go down on an angle.
These ones go down on an angle. Well, these ones actually kind of straight across too, but these are found in the Pine Barrens in southern New Jersey. These are baby Bigfoot footprints.
Aw.
Yeah, aren't they a little cute?
They're cute. Cuties.
We found these about a mile off the closest trailhead, and they were also found in some cold weather. No adult footprints were found around this area, and they were found along our river, and they were all playing. We found 39 of these guys, and they were all playing along, like, sporadically along the riverbank. Just looks like they were playing along the river. Yeah.
It was like their playground there.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jenny wants to know, what's the advantage for a Sasquatch with the hinge in the foot? What does the hinge do?
Yeah, that's great. We were talking about the E word before, the evolutionary word. That's a hinge in Bigfoot's foot that it evolved over time, we think, that it kind of gained. And it's for pushing off. So when the Bigfoot is crouched down and like, you know how we can push off? And it kind of pushes off and moves the soil. But it's also meant for walking. It's very hard. If you Google mid-tarsal break and you go to, I think it's the GIFs, there's a GIF of it walking, and you can see the motion of how this footprint and how the mid-tarsal break works. It's very interesting.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I guess, because they don't have shoes and everything, so their foot is being evolved differently than ours, because we have that whatever support on the bottom of, like the pads on the bottom of our feet are not like what they would have, because they are constantly on, because more like animals. Like a dog, a cat, they got those pads on the bottom of their foot, where we wouldn't have that, because we actually protect our feet with something else, with shoes or whatever we might have on.
Yeah, our feet are, as humans, our feet are extremely fragile. They're not adapted to the environment at all. I mean, even like Fred Flintstone, that like had pretty rough feet, but they were still human feet. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think Bigfoot's foot has. I think it's more like a bare foot, really. Not a barefoot like a naked foot, but like a
Yeah.
bear, like the animal barefoot.
Mhm.
It has
Yeah.
those callus pads and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the only thing I can feel. Because walking through woods, I mean, you're stepping on rocks, stones, whatever might be on that floor. So I mean, and they walk through it, so I guess they need those pads so they don't hurt their foot the way a human. If we walk in the woods like that with no shoes on, we'll be
Oh yeah, you'd be
we'll,
hurt unless
we'll
you're
last long.
extremely
First of all, and our
adapted
feet
to
will
it
bleed.
over. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my
So
God, I'm the biggest baby. When we go to the beach, if there are any shells or rocks or whatever, I'm like, where are the water shoes?
Yep. Oh yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah,
I'm
I
right
can't
there
stand
with
it.
you.
yeah.
There, it's like one of the most sensitive parts of your body. There, or when you get your stomach wet, done, over. I'm out. It's time for the heated pool.
I mean, you have you have prints of baby Bigfoots, little youth, youth,
Utes.
youths,
Utes. We
youths.
got the Utes
They got
over here.
the youths of the Bigfoots. Um, do you feel that when they reproduce and stuff, the baby's born like ours, where they gotta be carried, or they get born and they're ready to run?
That's I've never been asked that question before. I don't know. That's a very good question. I think uh, they probably need to be carried around a little bit just to to nurse and stuff
Mhm.
like that would make sense.
Mhm.
But I don't know how instinctual the parents are, if it's a very loving relationship to straight off the bat, or if it's more
Mhm.
like an animalistic relationship where it's kind of
Mhm.
like, hey, I love you, but you got to fend for yourself type thing.
Yeah.
That could be it too. I would like to think, and this has just been my thought forever, just because, like I said, nobody's asked this question before. I would like to think that Bigfoot are like these lovey-dovey type creatures that like to hold and take care and kiss and
Mhm.
caress their babies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Do you think that are you saying that you believe that they are because you love Harry and the Hendersons, or are you saying that
I love that
you
show.
would hope that they are?
I would hope. I mean, I really do love Harry and the Hendersons. Yes.
I do.
That's a great. That was a great movie. I love that. I can still watch that. Every time it's on, I just put it on. Yeah, that was a great movie. And you just you want to believe that that they're loving beings. They're just like
Because
us
they're
in
fuzzy and
ways.
they're
They
cute.
got feelings for their families, and maybe that's when they throw rocks at you because they're defending off, trying to scare you away because they got their family. They're afraid that you guys are going to hurt their family.
Well,
So
that's what I think it comes down to. Is I think Bigfoots are they intuitively know that they need to be cautious of humans and stay away from humans, because if they don't, I think they know something bad's going to happen to
yeah,
them. So I don't know. I think that could be something that the Bigfoot, like I said, intuitively know as well. Who knows?
yeah. Yeah, maybe they know they came across our species already, where we're just, we're ready to take them down and experiment on them to learn more about them, you know. And
Well,
so,
what's super interesting is a lot of Native American tribes have these stories. Actually, every Native American tribe in North America has a story of a Bigfoot type creature, right?
mhm,
But the thing is, they didn't communicate with each other. So how can these tribes have the same story of this
mhm,
creature and not communicate with each other? It's phenomenal.
yeah,
Um, but in all their stories is Bigfoot is the protector of the forest, the hairy man of the forest. He's
mhm,
this and he's that. We cohabitate with them. We live with them in the forest. They take their land, we take ours, and everything's good to go.
mhm,
When it all changes, when the Europeans come over,
mhm,
and now they introduce modernized weapons and stuff into the world, the Bigfoot's world, and they're looking to
mhm,
shoot everything and their moms, right?
Yeah.
So Bigfoot are going to be like, oh crap, we got to get away from these because if not, they're gonna. I would be very curious to hear like early colonial settlers and Bigfoot reports. I would be curious to see their encounters with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I'm,
Yeah.
I mean, but also what I find amazing about it is it's these stories around the world of big,
Absolutely.
hairy men or creatures that are like, the Bigfoot that we know here, Sasquatch. I know from Florida what they call them skunk
Hmm.
apes, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And around the world, I mean, look in the there's Yeti. There's different names for a Sasquatch, and they got all these different names all around the world. So I feel there is something there. You know, before the settlers came here, and they had their stories about the big hairy creatures, but around the world where they didn't know this place even existed had their stories, and all
Hmm.
these different countries and everything. So there has to be something behind all this, you know.
Absolutely. There's got to be, and if say there's not,
Mhm.
I'm having a good time doing it and just looking for them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. That's all that matters. Yeah, I mean, you got to have a good time doing what you're doing. I'm telling you right now, I
Hmm.
mean, look at a ghost
Yeah.
sitting in damn cold areas and these abandoned buildings that have every kind of thing in the air that could give you cancer or just kill you. And we're sitting there with all our little gadgets, but I enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
If
it.
you if you stop doing like if you stop doing something, if you stop doing what you love, or if you don't do what you love, then
Mhm.
you shouldn't do it. Really, I think
That's
that's
right.
just my
Yeah.
personal opinion.
Yeah.
You know.
And I've actually said, Mike, that just like with anything else supernatural or paranormal, like when if you go back before there were phones or whatever, and people were just like writing in journals or there were books or whatnot, these people didn't contact each other. They had no way of contacting each other. There were people writing about vampires and elves and gnomes and leprechauns
Yeah.
and all of these different things, and they explained what they looked like, and they were all very similar. They had to have existed if these people are writing about them.
Hmm.
They wrote the exact same thing about all of these different creatures and things from beyond the veil. So they have to exist or existed or just come out at different times. And same thing with
There's
Bigfoot.
and there's that's just proof that like exactly what you said. There has to be or had to be some proof behind it. There's no question
Mhm.
about it.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
just no. It's not a speculation at this point. It's more of a factual thing. Something was there or is here at this time. So that's just what we're
Mhm.
trying to figure out.
So
Yeah.
we have a couple of questions. Ufi wants to know, Mike, speculate on what might happen if some human actually captured a young Bigfoot. I think she
Oh,
might mean like what happens if Mama Bear comes, like, is she coming running or is dad going to do blah, blah, blah? Like, I think that's what she means by that. Or is
yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a tough question. I think it would be a bad day for you or anybody whomever that person is that would capture that Sasquatch. I think they live in family groups, close knit family groups, and I think their family structure is close.
it's kind of like
I
a
think
village raising?
yeah, I think a little bit less. I think there's anywhere from like 5 to 15 individuals in in a family group of Bigfoot, or some people call it a clan. I don't like that word. I don't know why, but a family group I like to call it. Um, but yeah, I think if you were to somehow capture one in a trap or something like that, you're gonna have a very upset mama Bigfoot around, just as you would any animal, right?
Mhm.
And they're not gonna want you to come close to that Sasquatch. They're gonna do everything in their power too. So I don't think you would be able to capture one, especially if they do live in these family groups.
Yeah. I mean, you never, you never comes between a mama and a baby.
Mhm.
I don't care what
Never. Never.
human, animal, or anything.
Oh,
Never come between my mom and my baby. Because
Okay.
that's the worst thing you want to do.
That's a good
You know?
answer. Yakovetti wants to know what's the most common misconception among newbies getting into Sasquatch research and field work that they inevitably learn to be untrue or false?
I think that's a really good question too. Wow, your viewers got some.
Yeah,
You guys got some grinds gearing up there, rolling.
they're very smart,
Um,
very intelligent.
Yeah, that's great. I think one of the common most misconceptions is you think you're gonna find a Bigfoot every time you go out. And you're not. That's just what it comes down to. I know, and a lot of people, especially new people, and everybody was new at one point, so I was new, but they think everything's a Bigfoot when it's not. It just comes down to not everything in the woods is a Bigfoot. Not every tree break Sasquatch related. Not every knock in the woods is Bigfoot related. Not even every vocalization is Bigfoot related. So I think that's another common misconception that a lot of people kind of really they I don't want to say they get too into it, but they get really into it, and unfortunately, it doesn't only hurt them when it comes to their research, because they're not gonna, that doesn't do any justice to them, but it also hurts the Bigfoot community when they put that evidence out there and say, no, this is a Sasquatch when it's not.
Mhm.
Like, I'll have you, all those, and I'm sure in the paranormal world, you guys deal with it all the time. The red circles around pictures.
Circles,
Yeah.
arrows,
Yeah. Oh
dots,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
explanation running across the screen. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's pareidolia. It's a scientific thing. It's when you think you see things that resemble things that actually aren't true. You see it like when you look at clouds and you see objects in clouds. That's pareidolia. It's just it's a shape of a thing, but it's not the actual thing. It's just a lot of people, when they see Bigfoot, they see these faces in the woods or pixelized faces. I see that all the time. What they do is, like, they'll blow up a million times the photo, and then they'll be like, this is it, and they point to this, like, three pixelized blur,
Yeah.
and they're like, this is Bigfoot with the baby, with the two juveniles next to it, climbing a tree with Mothman and a UFO.
Well, I was actually going to say it's also very common for, like, because we're not really into the Bigfoot. I mean, like, we deal with it, but not like you do. But within the paranormal, like supernatural kind
Yeah,
of
I've
world,
always been interested with all that stuff. I got interested in 1976 with the um, $6 Million Man when he was looking for Sasquatch.
Yep.
That's where I got into it.
but you
Nice.
see orbs, and every orb has a face in it, or like everyone expects to go out, and there's always going to be a haunting, or there's always a ghost in a place that looks scary, or there's always going to be something. So that's very similar to what we deal with.
Yeah. I say, and this is on last year I did, or this year, about 1 in 10 times I got Bigfoot activity that I went out. So it's not a lot, but it's really good for when it comes to, like, Bigfoot activity. That's, like, really good, but it's still not a whole lot. You're not gonna get that Bigfoot activity every time you go out there. It's just the nature of the beast.
So we probably get a hell of a lot more, but
There's a question. I don't know who it is. It says Facebook user, but they say, have you ever tried gifting?
when you were out.
Yeah, I did have an area that I used to gift at. It's in Sparta Mountain. It's where I was got that footprint that I showed you from. And I found the area, and it was just a really unusual tree structure. The trees were, like, woven, and just, I mean, they were like substantial diameter trees, just woven, and is something that I would love to see the storm that could do that. And I would love to see the people that could do it. We tried to recreate it, like, a little bit of ways, and we had 6 people there, and we couldn't do it. So it was just like, all right, there might be something to it. So I just left a gift there. I think I left a little cat toy or something like that there. And I went back there a couple days later, a week later, it was gone. Uh, then I would go back there every once in a while, and the structure would be physically different. It would have shifted and moved around a little bit, which was interesting. I went to check on it in winter one time, and as you walk into the area, there was an upside down tree that was shoved into the ground that wasn't there 2 weeks prior. Yeah, I don't know what that was. That was still crazy to me. But yeah, and I stopped that because there's people have concerns when it comes to gifting in the Bigfoot community. They say it's probably not the best idea to gift an animal, which is true. I know you have to be careful with your state and local statutes about leaving items, and especially if they're food items. I know a lot of people gift food. That's called baiting, and that's illegal in a lot of places. So you got to check your local laws about that too. I just don't want to see anybody get popped up for that. And a lot of people ask me, question I get all the time is, do you bring any weapons with you when you go look for Bigfoot? That's a big no-no either. Because if we get stopped by the state park police or the whoever, and they say, what are we doing? We're out looking for animals at night with lights and thermal imaging stuff. Guess what they think we're doing? We're poaching. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't bring anything. I used to carry bear mace until I got bear maced one time.
Oh.
Oh.
What, the wind's against you?
Oh no! You want to hear the story?
His friend was against him.
No, it wasn't even that. No, this was terrible. We were out in the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area, and we were filming for the show. It's on my YouTube channel. The whole thing's on my YouTube channel. And I have bear mace that I kept on my belt. Right, I kept it there all the time. Every time I went out, I just bear mace. Right, had the little zip tie safety seal on it and everything. Didn't think twice about it. I was in the back seat of my friend's Jeep. There were two people, the driver, passenger, me in the back. We're going over Old Mine Road, which is, fun fact, the oldest continuously used road in the United States. And it feels like it. I don't think it's been paved since then either. So the potholes were and all of a sudden, how Jeeps have fire extinguishers? Some of the Jeeps have fire extinguishers.
Yeah.
I heard the fire extinguisher going off. And I was like, oh no, I'm like, Mike, why is your fire extinguisher going? And by the time I said that, I realized it wasn't said fire extinguisher, but it was my bear mace. And it was on full blast. Couldn't get it. I didn't even know. Couldn't. And all of a sudden, I couldn't see. There was just a fog, and Mike, the driver of the car, he almost flipped it because he was coughing. He couldn't see, so he pulled over, almost flipped it. They piled out of the front seats, and they're rolling around on the ground, coughing, vomiting. Right? They shut the doors, and now I'm in the Jeep. I can't find my way out. I'm in the back seat. I'm trying to jump over the seats, try to get out. They shut me in the car, so it's now all that. It was horrible. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. So that was bad in itself. It took me 3 days to open both of my eyes. Right?
Oh my God.
So the instantly when I got home, the first thing that I do is shower, right? Because I've been in the woods for 6 days now or 5 days, and I need to get this off of me because it's still burning at every little inch of my body, right? That was probably the worst decision that I've ever made in my entire life, because I now know, and I'm very aware that bear mace is an oil-based material, and that just runs down your body. So where does it run to?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh, I'm crossing my legs right now. Ouch.
You know what else does that? Icy hot. And if you're allergic to it,
Oh.
it's real bad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I don't carry bear mace anymore.
Good boy.
Okay. Good call. Good call. Oh man. Yeah.
Anthony, we should do another podcast called Be Aware
Be aware. No one bring bear mace.
or Bear Aware.
Bearware.
It's a, we don't have that problem when we go to what we do.
Oh my
We don't
God.
have no ghost mace. So
No.
so we don't have to worry about that.
You know, I did a paranormal investigation one time in my entire life,
Mhm.
and I will say I am never going to do that again because that was horrifying. I was so scared. Nope. I would rather look for an 8-foot tall bipedal Bigfoot in the woods that could rip me in half. I'd rather deal with that than something I can't see. Just simple as that.
So, would you rather be bear maced again, or
No, anything over bear mace. You could literally say anything on this planet. I'd probably pick it over bear mace.
Oh man. Yeah. But this is interesting. You said that you have that print of that the cat
Yeah.
that you got on your first, what was it, a cougar or something like that? A rare
Oh,
cougar?
no, this isn't of that one. This is a different cat that I found. I don't have that footprint. No. This footprint is from Maryland, actually, as I drop it on the ground. This footprint is actually from Maryland. And what's really cool about it is it's an obvious large cat. For those of you that can do animal tracking, it's obviously a large cat, right?
Yes.
But the cool thing about this is this was found in Maryland.
Wow.
They say that there's no mountain lions that live in Maryland.
What?
Yeah, interesting, right?
Oh, wow.
They also say that about Pennsylvania and New Jersey and New York, but we know that mountain lions pass through those areas. But they
I
say
live
that
in
no.
Pennsylvania. I could tell you that there are mountain lions here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So go. This is kind of indisputable proof right here that this creature
And that's from
was
Maryland.
one time in Maryland.
And
Absolutely.
and that's from Maryland, and they don't have nothing with big cats down there.
That's what they say.
Isn't there? Well, I don't want to change subject with cats now, but there's supposed to be like a panther, walking around some of these areas.
Yeah,
And
with red eyes, right?
yeah, and I don't know. I don't want to change it from Bigfoot to cats, but
I don't know. I've not come across that. I don't want to. That would be pretty scary. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that would be okay
totally
with me.
different than Bigfoot, because that's something that will use you as a lunch snack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jenny has, I think it's like a 2-part question, and then Ron has a statement. Iacovetti does. So she says, it seems like most sightings are in the northern areas of the country. Are there Sasquatches in the southern U.S.?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
Big
other
time.
than Florida, she says, and it seems like
Other
you
than
always
Florida.
hear about Oregon, etc., more than say Louisiana. Maybe it's a misconception, or like, do they call them something different depending on where they're located? Because like Anthony said, Yeti, skunk,
Yeah.
squatch, or something like that. Because the Yeti's
Swamp
white,
ape, yeah.
right?
Common misconception. It's actually brown.
Okay.
Yep. No, but that's a very good question. Southern U.S. has a lot of Bigfoot. East Texas is known for Bigfoot in the Big
wow.
Thicket area. Absolutely. In Arkansas, you have the Fouke Monster, right? That's a good one. Louisiana, you have the Rougarou. and you bring up every state has, except Hawaii, has a Bigfoot sighting, a
But
Bigfoot type
isn't
creature.
Rougarou more like a werewolf?
That could be more of a paranormal werewolf type
Okay.
creature. Yes, they definitely have Bigfoot type creatures down there as well. But they're all, like you said, called by different names, different kind of descriptions to them. New Jersey, we have Big Red Eye. In Ohio, you have the Grassman. Florida, the skunk ape. Every area, like I said, has, and you can even go like we were talking about before. Every country has its own type of Bigfoot. The Yeti, the Yaren in China, the Orang Pendek in Sumatra, the Yowie in Australia. So each geographic area has its own name for Bigfoot too. But they're all, I think, of the same type, same creature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd probably. I mean, yeah, and they're different sizes and different colors. You know, so I guess
Yeah.
they adapt to the location they're from.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at us. The three of us look very inherently different, right? I think Bigfoot would look different as well. They all look kind of the same, but different hair, different, different ages, different skin colors, different color hair. Absolutely, it would just make sense.
Did any of them have purple hair?
Shut up, Anthony. He loves to pick on me like. Moving on. Yacovetti said, if you get in trouble with the law for gifting a Bigfoot, they couldn't prosecute without acknowledging the existence or possibly of Bigfoot, similar to the Devil Made Me Do It case from Connecticut.
Mm. Mm-hmm,
I see what you did there, Yacovetti. Devil made me do it.
Yeah, that's interesting that you bring it up. You can, unfortunately, the law doesn't necessarily have to say looking for a Bigfoot. Unfortunately, the items like that you would like, say we'll take baiting for example. You take food. I know Bigfoot like apples and peanut butter and donuts, right? I think that's all something that they've been said to eat.
Who don't?
So unfortunately, that's the same exact things that you bait a bear with. So those
They'll
are
say it was an animal in general that you're trying to bait that could be dangerous. They would never ever admit to it being a Yeti or a Sasquatch or.
Well, if you put stuff down like that anyway, how are you going to say Bigfoot comes if a bear likes it too? You know, and you come back, it's gone. You don't know who took it, Bigfoot or a bear.
Right, exactly. Well, that's hopefully why you have trail cams.
So
and
yeah, I
stuff
can see how they look at that as
it's like fishing and getting your trout stamp, where you're not, you accidentally catch a trout or you accidentally catching a bear when you're looking for Bigfoot. No, it doesn't work like that. It's if you don't have it, you don't have it. So, I divert. Yeah, no, and the last thing that you want to do is get in trouble doing something that you like and looking for you don't want to draw any attention to yourselves while you're out looking for Bigfoot. That's the last thing that anybody wants to do. I was actually just talking with one of my good friends who got a ticket because he was out after hours in this park looking for Bigfoot. And the Florida Wildlife Commission did not enjoy that too well. I guess they were not having a good night.
Actually.
What's that?
It's a felony.
Yeah, well, he's not too happy. They're all trying to fight it, but yeah, it's just you got to be careful and definitely read the rules where you go. It's the last thing I would want to see anybody tied up in is breaking the law and in any kind of legal trouble. That's the last thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like what we do too. Like we don't want to go in locations like trespass in locations because there are laws that you might want to do what you're doing, but there's laws that you can't do in certain locations. So you don't do it.
Well, it's the same thing with Bigfooting. Yeah, we have some of the best reports that come from private property, and we just don't have access to get there. It's just unfortunate, It's just either the owners have moved or time has passed and whatever. We just in that situation we just try to get the closest that we can to the land.
Yeah. And do you have people call you in to do their land and to check out their property? Anybody
Occasionally.
call you? Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't do it as often as I would like to. I get a lot of requests for that, but with my touring schedule, I'm just not around as often
Hmm.
as I'd like to be, especially up in New Jersey. You know, it's it it all depends. You could kind of tell where the Bigfoot are going to be because you can look at the geography of Sussex County, especially my
Hmm.
area, and kind of tell where they're going to be. So it would make sense if they're in a certain area or not.
Hmm.
But you definitely, if especially if they've had reports, you want to follow up on the report just to see what they saw for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean,
You know,
and also,
in Sussex County, actually, I have if you go on my website, shadowofredeye.com,
mhm.
you can see I have a geographic Google Maps database of all the sightings in Sussex County. We have 59 Bigfoot sightings in Sussex County, New Jersey, and you could click and
Really,
read each one of them. It's the only kind of map like this in the country, so you can click on
gotcha.
that and check it
Interesting.
out. Yeah.
I mean, when we watch, I know I watch a lot of the shows with the Bigfoot and stuff, and they always assume that they're meat eaters. They follow the trail. Could they just be like eating leaves and berries and stuff like that, or they are definitely meat eaters?
Oh, I think you hit the nail on the head. Uh, so I'll give you my eating spiel real quick. If you look at Bigfoot sightings and you take a bear population map, you overlay the two, they are the exact same. You can do this for whatever state it goes to, right?
Okay.
So it's very interesting, and I'd say exact, quote unquote. Maybe there's some diversions from it. Uh, but anyways, so that would lead me to believe if you have two large apex predators that live in the same area, they would probably eat very similar things, right? Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, what do bears eat?
Yeah, they're carnivores. They eat deer or
Anything
whatever it
that they
might be
can put
there.
their paws on.
Yeah, right.
Anything that's
Fun
meat.
fact: 70% of their diet is like berries, berries,
Oh,
bushes,
really?
shrubs, and ferns. Yeah. So, so I think a Bigfoot would eat the same thing. I think a Bigfoot's diet would consist mostly of berries.
Hmm.
And what's interesting is you can actually see, depending on what state you're in, you can see patterns of Bigfoot leaving areas as the berries die off. It's very cool.
Oh,
So
really?
that would lead me to believe that Bigfoot are nomadic, and I think they actually follow the food.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've seen, I because they always show, Bigfoot, and they're always looking these animal trails, and oh, there's plenty of food. And I'm just thinking, maybe that they just, you know, if there's more berries and everything else in the forest that grows for them than actually them tracking down something and killing it and eating it. So that's
Well,
like,
you have to look at what would make sense for Bigfoot, right?
mm,
To chase down a deer would take a lot of calories. If you're in a
mhm,
survival situation like any animal is, you want to conserve as many calories as possible. You want to conserve your fat and use your fat for you and not chasing down something that you're not going
mhm,
to get as many calories back as chasing it down.
mhm,
So that's why I think they eat these berries constantly all throughout the day. They just walk and pick berries, just like deer do, right? They just walk
mhm,
and chew and walk and chew and walk and chew, just like
mhm.
deer, bear. So I think that's like what mostly the bear eats. I think if we were to find Bigfoot scat, it would just be a very long pile of bear-looking turd.
Yeah. I mean, I seen up in Pennsylvania, the place I have up there, I seen bear stuff, bear scat on the, I seen that. And I'm like, and I was thinking about, Bigfoot. I mean, you never see anything from that. All the Bigfoot sightings and everything, you never see any of that or any remains or anything. What do you think? That's why I think they go underground
Yeah,
because you don't find their bones. You don't find they're eating. They're going to have to release it
yeah,
somewhere, and they're out in the
yeah.
woods. Does a bear
Right.
get in the woods? Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, Where's
Well,
Bigfoot going to go?
I think you make an interesting point when you say the bones. I ask hunters all the time that come up to me and they say, well, I haven't, I've been hunting for the past 40 years and I haven't found any Bigfoot bones.
Mhm.
And I kind of chuckle and I say, well, how many bear skeletons have you come across? And their mind, because they have
It's true.
never come across bear remains in the woods.
Hmm.
So we know that there's bear here. In fact, Sussex County has the highest density of black bear population east of the Mississippi. And I
Wow.
ask all these hunters here, have you seen any bear remains? They say no. So if there are Bigfoot here, and I think there are, in fact, I know there are Bigfoot here,
Hmm.
to find the remains would be like finding a needle in a stack of needles. That's what I like to tell people. And I
Yeah.
think if Bigfoot's even remotely intelligent, they're going to go into areas that humans do not go into
Hmm.
and die somewhere where they're going to die and remain in peace after they die and not be speaking of scavengers, we have scavengers that come along here. Do we know that porcupine actually eat bones, right?
I didn't know that.
So animals come across and they'll pick apart this animal. We could go from like me and you talking like right now to me being completely dead and decomposed if I was outside in a
Hmm.
matter of like 2 to 3 weeks. So it's a very fast process.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've seen a couple of times when I went camping stuff. You see deer in the woods. Like on the side of a highway, something got hit, and you can see, you know, creatures, maggots and everything on them and stuff, and you can see the
Yeah.
skin moving and everything.
Uh,
And you go there like a week later, and it's like just bones left. You
yeah.
know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
And
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 and after that, the bones the bones do deteriorate and stuff. So they
yeah.
turn to ash, I guess, eventually.
Hmm.
But
And they'll get covered
maybe.
over by leaf litter and stuff, just like deer antlers. They lose them every year. Very hard to find,
Mhm.
although we do find them, right? But you'd think there would be a ton of them. You
Yeah.
think there would be so many dead deer and deer bones just littering everywhere. But
Hmm.
the fact is, there's not, right? It's hard to come
Yeah.
across a dead deer. Not impossible, but it's
Yeah.
hard to.
Yeah. They just in nature itself, they find.
Hmm.
Like I said, I found we used to see them on the side of the roads. They after hitting because our trails were not too far from certain the road. It was in
Right.
Jersey, by the Palisades over
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
There's
Hmm.
a Boy Scout camp I used to take my scouts to, and
Oh, cool.
that's a lot of times we did the trail on the cliffs over there, and
Yeah,
you always find something there, some kind of animal,
yeah, yeah.
bones
That's
and
cool.
stuff. Okay, you got a question?
Yeah, I just didn't want to get sidetracked and let's lose this. A Facebook user says, in your experience and studies, do you think they may have some sort of ESP or mind reading capabilities? Maybe they can read that you don't have weapons, but their sense of smell is probably very sensitive, and they could smell the metal on the weapons.
Yeah, I don't think they have any capabilities of mind reading or ESP. Not to say that again, I don't know. Nobody knows. I've just not experienced anything like that in my adventures and my expeditions. What I will say is I know that they're extremely sensitive to and extremely their senses are through the roof. Um, for example, we were in Whitehall, New York, where we got surrounded by Bigfoot, and we only had our audio recorders going. We didn't have any video cameras, nothing else, no night vision, no thermal cameras going. We just had our audio recorders going, and that's the closest that I think we've ever gotten to Bigfoot. Does that correlate? I think so. I think that Bigfoot can see the infrared light that our cameras give off, just the same way that they could see.
Animals. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like a
trail
cat.
cameras.
Cat could see your stuff and everything.
Trail
Raccoons.
cameras give off infrared light, and I
Hmm.
think Bigfoot can see this light, and that's why they just simply avoid it. That's why there's no
Hmm.
good pictures of Bigfoot on trail cameras.
Yeah, I mean trail cat. Like the animals, they, you know, you have your night vision and you're in the dark. I know as you know, with my equipment, my night vision equipment, you're in the dark and I don't see nothing. But if I shine it over and there's something in the corner like a rat, something like that, they'll look at you
Oh yeah.
and they probably can see those that type of whatever the infrared light being coming over. They probably can't see that since they can see in the dark. So that's interesting.
Going on Mr. User's question, I will say that a Bigfoot I think knows that you're there into their area. I think you're not gonna sneak up on a Bigfoot. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think, right? I think humans innately make too much noise as we walk through the woods, and I think their sense of hearing is just extreme. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no way we're gonna sneak up on one of these. I think like by the time you close your car door, Bigfoot will hear that and they'll be like, "Oh, we got to get out of the area. There's humans coming."
Yeah.
And the only way that you're gonna get a really good, I think, visual of Bigfoot is if Bigfoot wants you to kind of is an accidental thing, but Bigfoot just got too close because he was just inquisitive and trying to check you out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why you don't see too many because they always hide, and they probably get caught. That's why they get on film. People get pictures of them or something. It's because of by accident.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. No,
Uh,
yeah. Yep.
that's interesting with that. Um,
So Todd said that we had already answered his question. Ufi said not to divert topic, but has anyone noticed a correlation between Bigfoot and underground ET habitation? I was
can't
actually
answer
going to
that one.
ask
Yeah.
about like an extraterrestrial connection.
All right, so like, I don't share this often, right? But I will for you guys since you guys are pretty cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? So ET Bigfoot connection. Remember I was telling you about that vocalization that I got up in High Point, the one that I sent away,
Yeah.
Uh,
yeah.
so about 15 minutes before this, there were 6 of us, and we were all along this this gas line cut, and we all saw this V or this red light do like a W across the sky or an M just going across the sky, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All of us saw it. I mean, we're all a little bit insane, but I mean, we know what we saw, type of thing.
Yeah.
And then we went and about 15 minutes later got that vocalization. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, how could you not correlate the two?" For me, it's just not close enough. If it was like 30 seconds, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes is too long for me.
Okay, so maybe it's not a correlation as far as the two go together,
Mm-hmm.
but what about it maybe being like a triangle or ley lines, or maybe it's just that there is a bunch of supernatural or paranormal activity happening in that location.
Yeah, it just it could be any of the above, really. We just don't know, right? There's no book to say that this is why. I know we were along a gas line, and what's extremely interesting about the gas lines is 80% of sightings within the county of Sussex come within a half mile each way of the gas line. So I think they use gas lines as a highway, if you will, to walk or to meander across. And that's where all their food's going to be, all their berries are going to be, right? So I think
Yeah.
that would make the most sense if you're looking for Bigfoot to put yourself in the area where you think the Bigfoots are going to be the most, right?
Mhm.
And who knows, it could have just been that we were all looking up and we had this clear sky that we saw this UFO thing, and it was I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah. Well, you don't have any real connection between the two. That's what
Yeah.
you're saying, and which is fine. I mean, and I know other people would say so, but when we come across things, and like with Bigfoot and aliens and UFOs, a lot of times we're told, "Oh yeah, they all together." not everywhere I go has UFOs or Bigfoot. I don't see Bigfoot any haunted locations.
But
Yeah.
there are several places where it's like a triangle and there's like Pukwudgies and UFOs and spirits and whatever. But it turns out that it is like a triangle that does put a bunch of things together. And Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong, but shale, water, all of those things, and especially like I've noticed that a lot of places that involve coal mining. I talked to Tim Wood about this. Ghost Town Terror, there's coal there, and he purchased a house here that had a lot of paranormal activity, and it was so bad that he sold it because it just was terrible. Coal here, and there was a connection, and we kind of like discussed the possibility of it being a coal connection. But like if there's gas lines, maybe it's like something that's involving like a semiconductor or whatever the case may be.
I think what he was saying is because gas line, there's openings where they can walk back and forth clearly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And he's been doing it a lot longer than us. So if he hasn't, if you don't feel that any connection,
That's not to say there's not a connection though. There are people that swear that. If you look up a guy named Stan Gordon out of Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
He's a really great guy, a good friend of mine. He has this Bigfoot UFO connection, and that's his thing, and he stands by that. He's interviewed hundreds of thousands of witnesses that have swore that they have a UFO Bigfoot connection. And who's to say you can't tell somebody that they didn't see what they saw, right?
Mhm.
You can't
No, of course.
tell what they saw.
Mhm.
So just because I haven't observed it doesn't mean that it's not true. Just like for other cryptids, I've never ran across a dog man. I hope to never come across a dog man. But that's not to say he's not out there, right? Just because I have an experience doesn't mean it's not true. Isn't out there.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, we've come across countless, spirits, and Anthony, you've had UFO experiences. So have I. I've never had a Bigfoot experience or a chupacabra or a Mothman or a Jersey Devil or whatever. But who's to say tomorrow I won't get out of bed and walk into my kitchen and see Bigfoot making breakfast? It better be for me.
His name would probably be Todd. Well, Todd's her husband. By the way.
There you go.
He's like 6'4".
He's big. That's why I said Bigfoot. It's Todd.
Starting to make sense now. I get it.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't let you on the joke.
Yeah, you got it. Like
I thought you were taking jabs at her husband. I'm like, wow, and then you use 6'3". I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm a short guy, so you guys older than me.
And actually, Stan Gordon, interesting that you said that, because there's a guy that I met that he also believes that UFOs do have a connection. He was a pilot for a large company, and he was in charge of like the Bigfoot Society in Pennsylvania, and he knows Stan Gordon, and they had the same connection. And I was like, "Are you serious? You hunt Bigfoot?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do. Do you have a problem with it?" I'm like, "No." And I said, "Do I sense like a small accent?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Where are you originally from?" Because he said, "Oh, my name is Steve." And he said, "My name is Istvan, and I'm from Transylvania." And I was like, "Get out of here." Like, you also hunt vampires? And he's like, "They're not real."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "They're very real. And I'm going to sit down and tell you why they're very real." So that's kind of interesting that you brought Stan Gordon up. But
that's funny.
So Todd, what is the most recent sighting of Bigfoot? Like of what Mike has seen? I guess that's what you've seen, or I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm not up on every sighting in the country, unfortunately. I can tell you my most recent experience was we were camping this year up in Whitehall, New York, actually in Bomoseen, Vermont, and we were camping up there. We did about a 2 mile hike up into this lake that was in the middle of nowhere, and I brought out a Bigfoot witness, a couple other people that have never really been out before, and they're like, Mike, do a Bigfoot call, do a Bigfoot call. And I kind of didn't feel like doing one. In the past, funny kind of like a side note for you, I have passed out doing a Bigfoot call before. That is on my YouTube channel as well. So you could look at that. But I didn't want to pass out. But they're like, Mike, you got to do one. It's the last call of the night. I was like, fine, I'll do one. So I do a nice like loud whoop. I hear the echoes, and then we actually get a whoo back. And it was just an extremely unusual. It sounded just like a person. However, there was nobody else out there. It was literally like 11 o'clock. We're 2 miles from the trailhead around a lake with no houses. And we just get this literal vocalization reply back, whoop. And I don't know what it was. That was the coolest thing that we've got in a while. Yeah.
That's cool. Where's the furthest you ever went to? What do you call it? Squatching or
Squatch? Yeah, squatch. Yeah, we go squatching.
go squatch?
Yeah. Maine
Go
to
squatch.
just this year. Maine to Florida to Indiana. In the past, I've been to Michigan. I think that's probably the furthest I've been, or if not Florida. We hit literally, I think it was 13 states this year. If not more than that. Maybe it was 15 or 16 now. I can't remember. But I think we're going for 18 in 2024. So that's going to be wild.
That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
I like I said, I would love to be out in the woods like that with you guys. So
We could set that up, Anthony.
yeah.
Hey, you guys want to come out? More than welcome.
I don't do the walking anymore. You guys do a lot of walking.
Yeah, we do. We could set up something. I mean, we could drive into an area. We got a big area, but a lot of times what we do is the best way to get Bigfoot evidence is not going and walking out in the middle of the woods trying to do these vocalizations and knocking on trees and stuff. It's actually you get the best evidence just sitting around a campfire at camp and playing like the unaware camper scenario. And you get rocks thrown at you. You hear these tree knocks and stuff, and it's pretty wild. And that's where I've actually had the most activities, just sitting around camp and not doing these hikes. But the hikes are fun,
Yeah, I know, but my knees aren't there anymore, so
we'll sit around the campfire, make some s'mores, and have a good time looking for Bigfoot. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Anthony, they're still there. They just slid down a little bit. They're still there. They just slid down a little bit.
Yeah.
Ron Yacovetti said, what about 5X flip-flops? I mean, they make 5X shirts. Why wouldn't they make 5X flip-flops, right?
Sure.
Jenny Colucci, how do you differentiate the sounds of a Bigfoot versus all the other animals in the wild? And are there some that are super similar?
Oh, great question too. Well, when it comes down to that, is you have to rule out all the animals that we know of first. So you take the animals that are in that area and you say like, oh, we have this unidentified or this unknown vocalization, go through the catalog of animals that it could be, definitely owls, different cats make crazy sounds, foxes make crazy sounds, bobcats, crazy sounds. If you're, and you got to check out the area that you're in too. In Florida, you have to deal with peacocks. Peacocks make crazy sounds. You don't even think about that, right?
No, you
but
don't.
That's something you got to be aware of the animals that are in your area. So once you can rule out that there's no known animal, then you could start thinking about, okay, what else could it be? And then you could start thinking, okay, this could be squatchy activity, but you really can't do that. Unfortunately, you can't do that in the field. In the field, if you have like a sound that you don't know what it could be, you have to kind of use that as we got to play that safe and say it's a Bigfoot and do our due diligence trying to investigate it until we can prove otherwise. And a lot of times, unfortunately, that happens back at the house afterwards.
Right, so, I mean, I still got this thing here.
Yeah.
What is
Want to tell
that?
us something about it? It's in the shadows of Big Red Eye. And this is the reviews and stuff you give, or is it what's with this?
So that's kind of like my postcard to give to venues when I go around doing my Mike Famelot Live Search in America Tour 24 presentation. I'll give these to libraries. It's kind of like my little promotional advertising thing of, hey, book me because I'm awesome.
Yeah, I'm awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Yeah, I seen it on there. Maybe I'll get myself out to Jersey and check you out in some of these libraries. Maybe we could actually go on investigation. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll talk about it for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, my paranormal stuff and see if anything gets affected.
Yeah. Okay. That's definitely an idea.
Like they say Bigfoot, like before somebody said, I seen some shows and they say Bigfoot has like a scream or like a tiger. When a tiger roars, it has this roar that it actually makes their their prey freeze.
Yeah, it's called infrasound.
Infrasound, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they said Bigfoot has that too. That is, I know it's not proven, but it's I seen that on a show.
I'll tell you, I thought that was phooey. I thought that was all made up and in everybody's head until I was hiking one night in this known area that has a lot of activity. And I had hiked this trail 100 times. I could do it blindfolded, backwards, upside down, no question, no problems, right? Daytime, nighttime. I had gotten about maybe a quarter mile into this hike and I came across a tree break. And it was at that point I felt like I hit a brick wall. And I was like, no, I can't go any further. Something's telling me that if I go further, something bad is going to happen to me. I actually had to call the person that dropped me off the trailhead and had to come pick me up. And it was the only hike that I've not finished. But it just instantly, all the hair stood up on the back on my body, and I just felt this imminent sense of dread and doom.
Wow.
And I can't correlate that to anything but infrasound. We know that primates have infrasound, so it's not outside the realm that Bigfoot could also acquire this capability. Lions have it, just like you said, to stun the prey. Bigfoot primates use it to stun prey as well. So why couldn't Bigfoot use it to stun prey or evoke the sense of fear into somebody to get them out of the area? Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, wow, that's interesting too, how, an animal or a creature like that would be able to have that ability to do something like that, And I didn't realize even like tigers and lions had that, I just learned that recently. So I watched the Bigfoot shows too. I watch all the shows, and because I find that very intriguing. You
got to watch out for some of them. Some of them are a little iffy. I mean, my show is pretty good, if I do say so myself. I don't know,
Yeah, it's like anything. Like even with paranormal shows, some are iffy.
Yeah. Some of them are just used for entertainment value, and you got to take it as that. And the same way with Bigfoot shows. Well, some are just there for entertainment purposes, and that's what they're there for.
Yeah, there's some of them are like you look at it and like, really? Yeah, you're not gonna be messing with something that big. Bigfoot. These things can rip you apart.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to take a chance with any of that. Well, then again, I'm not too bright, so I probably, hey, how you doing?
I think like 45 seconds ago, you just said you want to come out looking for Bigfoot with me. So
that's why he comes in the fire. We'll offer him a beer. Hey, hang out, man. Come on.
What he doesn't realize is that's his birthday present for me for this year.
Bigfoot.
good luck. Go with whatever source it is. So you guys actually did an interesting crossover with this question and answer thing that you just did, because Oofy wants to know, isn't it true that Bigfoot exploration typically does not include testing or looking for paranormal activity? You guys don't really get into that, right?
Some do. Some researchers do. I think the more pieces of data that you have, the more valuable your investigation is. That being said, I don't bring paranormal equipment out into the field with me. I'm not versed in it enough to know how to use it appropriately or properly, so I wouldn't want to get some readings that I didn't know what it was. And B, I have too much other crap that I have to deal with. I used to be where I would have my voice recorder. I always have a voice recorder going, a digital voice recorder, as you guys do as well in the paranormal field. For EVPs and stuff like that. We use it just for Bigfoot vocalizations. And I used to always have that rolling 24/7, no matter from before I got out of the car to the time that I got back in the car, and then I turned it off. And then to look through that audio is very time consuming. So now I only it's unfortunate, but I only record when I go on a hike. Or if I'm in a really squatchy area, I'll do it overnight, but that's very rare that I'll even do it anymore. So no, I don't personally bring paranormal investigative equipment in to the field, but I do know some people that do. And they're
Why would you have to bring extra equipment with you? I mean,
what's
you
that?
have to carry everything on your back. You're not going to bring extra equipment if you're not going to do a paranormal investigation. Why bring paranormal investigation equipment? Because I know we have a lot of equipment to bring. Right, everything we do, from cameras to EMF meters and everything. Besides that, then you got to bring all your gear that you use for your investigation. Then on top of it, you're going out for a couple of days. You're going to bring clothes. You're going to bring stuff. You got to bring food. So your pack is probably, heavy as it is. So it's stuff. I don't blame you on that.
Yeah. And even when we have like a base camp scenario, my car is so packed when it comes to, especially because I go camping for, I think, 15, 17, 19 days at a time. So like I am, my car is packed to the brim with the amount of stuff that I need to bring, especially if I, because I do sell stuff on Etsy too, that like you saw at the Woodbridge thing, all my stuff that I sell. I sell all that good stuff on Etsy as well. It kind of helps support the show and support my trips and stuff like that. So the cool thing about it is Etsy gives you a very limited time frame to send out the items. So I have to bring all of my inventory with me when I go on these trips to be able to send it out. So if I get an order, what I'll do that day is I'll get it, and then I'll go to a little local library or a little local post office somewhere, and I'll get to see the little local. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool system. It's neat.
They have horses and the guy riding on the back. Some of these
Pony Express.
The Pony Express. Yeah. I actually was in the Everglades in Ocho-P, Florida. The United States smallest post office. I was there, and I actually interviewed the guy. The guy working there had a Bigfoot sighting. It was very cool.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
He was a post office guy. He was the sheriff. He was the the pharmacist, the doctor.
The town had three people. He was the sheriff and the criminal at the same time because the town only had 3 people.
He was behind cell. I just arrested myself.
Do you ever? Oh wait, I think I lost my spot here. I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance. Okay, so Yacovetti said Mike is an excellent guest, knows his stuff, and fielded the questions really well. I've always been intrigued by the subject matter, so it was really cool learning more tonight. As am I.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
Are any investigators using AI to categorize and or recognize Bigfoot vocalizations?
Oh, that's great. No, not to my knowledge, actually. The one thing that AI is doing for the Bigfoot community is ruining it. We now have a lot of AI photographs of Bigfoot that come out, and they're so realistic. We don't know if they're real or fake. And I can only assume that with as time progresses and technology gets better and better, that it's only a matter of months out now until we have AI videos of Bigfoot that come out, and they could be the next big thing. And to be quite honest, we will have, besides having, knowledge of how to read files and source documents and stuff like that, you have no way of determining if this was a real or an AI generated kind of thing. So that's really hindering Bigfoot investigating right now. It's also it's almost come to the point where, uh, um, do we even look at pictures and video now? Is that a thing that we do, or do we have to just take physical evidence as proof of Bigfoot now?
Yeah.
Todd, I don't even want to mispronounce this name. I'm going to take a shot at it just so you can laugh at me. Bocatajlo. Is there a certain time of year that is best to search for Bigfoot, like fall, spring, etc.?
I think it really depends on where you are in the country. First of all, I think every location, every geographic location, kind of has their own patterns of Bigfoot. I know in New Jersey, it's not a matter of time of year; it's a matter of every third year. So every third year, say, no matter where you are in New Jersey, every third year, Bigfoot sightings increase by 80%.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you got to think, why is that, right? Like, so I think if you look at a map, you could actually see Bigfoot going around the state of New Jersey and see where their sightings increase. And you can follow them around the state, and they're going to be in the same spot every third year. So right now they're in Warren County in the Sourland Mountain region. That's where I'm going to be going to look for Bigfoot, because that's where I think they are. That's where the sightings have been.
So do you think that they're moving, so they're not being tracked? Do you think it's that they're like hunkering down? Yeah, like
No, I don't think they hunker down. I think they're nomadic. I don't think they make like permanent structures anywhere. And I think if they make anything, they'll make a little blind or a little very primitive shelter to get out of the weather. Other than that, I think they're just like other animals, where they're outside and exposed to the elements. But yeah, you can actually track these Bigfoot throughout the state of New Jersey. I think there's actually 2 family groups that live in the state of New Jersey. I think there's a total of like 9 to 10 individual Bigfoot that live in the state of New Jersey. So the numbers aren't huge. I don't think there's a whole
They
bunch
probably live down the Jersey Shore.
Anthony, you might want to pick up the phone now and call them and let them know where the best gabagool is.
Hey, I got some gabagool for you. Hey, some cannolis. We bring some cannolis along, yeah? One of our people says, "Do you use a cop cam?" I'm assuming they're saying body
cams.
Body cam. Every time I go out. It's the best way to get evidence of Bigfoot. Yep. So my camera that I use to film my show takes like 7 seconds to turn on to be able to press the record button. The average Bigfoot sighting lasts 5 seconds. So you can see where that doesn't add up too well, right? So that's why I wear it on my chest. I always have it on the body camera, no matter it's daytime, nighttime, audio, video, GPS. Can't beat it.
Yeah, I've been using body cams myself on my investigations. I actually use one in the front. I have one in the back.
Smart.
Because every time you pass, you always hear something behind you. By the time you turn, it's gone. So if you have it back there, so you might catch something. But then again, it gives you more stuff to review.
That's another thing. You got a lot of more stuff to review.
Yeah. It's like another 5 hours of like.
Depends on how bored you get, I suppose. How much insomnia that you get at night, depending on how much.
Who sleeps?
To take out field. Yeah, I can agree with that.
I'll get plenty of sleep when they start nailing me into a box.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Jenny says, other than yourself, who do you respect as super knowledgeable in this field?
That's a great question. I like that question because it's like a positive question. That's cool. Dr. Jeff Meldrum is a really cool dude. He's extremely knowledgeable. He's an anthropologist that has a lot to do with primate movement. So when it comes to Bigfoot footprints, he's the person to talk to. Another person in the field, Cliff Barackman. He was on the Finding Bigfoot show. He is stellar when it comes. He's very, very inspirational when it comes to Bigfooting. He actually opened up his own museum, the Bigfoot North American Bigfoot Center in Boring, Oregon, which is really cool. But those are just two of my favorite researchers out in the field. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to watch that show with Cliff. And
Yeah.
he was pretty, he's knowledgeable.
Very, very, very.
Ufi says the lament that it takes it's so long to review a recording, it could be mitigated by AI analysis. And most top brand digital cameras can fingerprint their recordings and images. Yet that being said, nothing keeps one from using them to re-record an AI generated video to give that authenticity. However, it should be that one AI can detect another AI production.
Wow. That was a lot to take in. I'm still trying to comprehend that one.
Mm.
You could always read it back later.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. That's interesting. Yeah,
You're gonna have to print that out one.
yeah. I'm gonna review that in the show notes.
Yeah, like, okay.
Have some really, really intelligent.
If he comes up with some questions, sometimes I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know. Well, yeah, she's always coming up with really great questions.
That's cool.
Okay, so Ron says, if no worry for cost and no restrictions, where would be your ideal dream place to look for Bigfoot?
Oh, good question too. Pacific Northwest. I think we kind of hit on it before. Someone else pointed that out in one of the questions. Northern California, Oregon, Washington State. That's the hot spot to look for Bigfoot activity. I've never been out there. I've never been west of the Mississippi looking for Bigfoot yet. It's just my dream to get out there. Unfortunately, I just think I need to do a couple more libraries to be able to get out that way.
Yeah. Oregon
Libraries,
sounds like
you're watching.
looks wild. Oregon and all that, that area. Always when it always seems like there's stuff going on down there. Because there's all woods and trees and everything. There's still more up there than us.
Yeah, there's from what I've heard about the Pacific Northwest is in the Cascade region is like you never even thought that you could experience as much wilderness out there as there is. So I would love to go in there and just experience. You guys ever heard of Mick Dodge?
Mick Dodge, no.
He's a guy that lives out there. He's a crazy dude. Used to have his own TV show. Lives out there. Actually plants Bigfoot footprints for tourists to come and walk over. But he doesn't wear shoes. He lives very off grid. He's a very like survivalist off grid person. Very very interesting. But he lives out in the whole rainforest out there. So if we're ever out there and you find Bigfoot footprints, it could just be Mick Dodge.
Mick Dodge's foot. That's it. Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be hoax, but I mean, when you're out in the woods, like where you've been, and you got these prints, and it's cold out, and it's I mean.
Well, and another thing is we don't tell anybody where we're going. That's a big thing that I would stress to. Well, I let me step back. You should tell people where you're going, especially if it's like in case of emergency. Tell like your significant other where you're going if you're going to go Bigfooting. But
to find your body parts.
Right. Know where to general area to look for my body type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't advertise it on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like that's not something I would do. I've been hoaxed before and it sucks. It's not fun. And that's why I just keep everything on the DL. I know like the BFRO, the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, if you go and sign up for one of their expeditions, you actually sign an agreement that says that you can't say, it's a contract that says you can't say where you're going outside of the group. So that's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, you can say it afterwards, can't you?
Nope.
No. Oh, so it's like you can't talk at all.
Nope. Well, technically speaking, you're not allowed to say anything about the expedition. No.
Oh, that's
Interesting.
interesting.
Hi, Alyssa. Alyssa says she's still here.
Hey.
So since we're at like 9:20 and we have about 10 more minutes left. So you have in 2016 you created In the Shadow of Big Red Eye, and it's in its 8th season. In 2018 you created a docu-series called Squatchables, which is adorable because it reminds me of, you know, the little food thing.
Lunchables. Yeah, I did not steal that from there. Don't get me on that. I didn't,
No, but
I
it's
didn't take
cute.
it from the.
Which is like you said,
Well,
it's
we always
like,
think about food, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't
we always think
I
about
got some in my fridge. Yeah, no, it's all good.
It's you said it was like a Bigfooting 101. What made you start doing this, and where is it at now?
We were talking about the TV shows before, and I kind of pre-warned, be careful what shows you watch because they're not all accurate.
Mhm.
So I wanted to make a show. I was really into Bigfooting in 2016, and I was like, man, I got a background in video editing, so I'm gonna make a show with that shows what Bigfooting is all about, what Bigfooting is truly about, right? But here's the fun part about it. I don't have any sponsors. I don't have any production managers. I don't have any network producers. I don't have anybody that tells me how to edit or run this show. So I do it all myself. Everything is edited by me. It's all in-house. I film everything. I edit everything. I publish everything. So I know everything is true, and my fans know that everything is true about what I do. I don't see a Bigfoot everything. I don't. You know what I love about the shows on TV? Especially some of the shows, I won't name names, but you'll get like this howl, right? And they'll play music over it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what is that? Like, come on.
A lot of things. They talk over,
Yeah.
the EVPs that you get in like the spirit shows, and it's too loud.
Yeah, no. So I don't have a music catalog. I don't have a budget for music. Shocker, that costs money. I didn't realize that when I got into this whole thing. But yeah, I don't have music for my episodes. It's not something that I focus on. I focus on the the main point. My mission statement of the show is to get friends and families off the couch and outside into nature. That's the whole point behind my show. And every episode kind of has that underlying reasoning behind it, right? So it's not about looking for Bigfoot and finding a Bigfoot every time. It's about getting out there and just seeing something that you wouldn't see sitting on the couch every day.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, they can get the family, like you said, get the family into it and getting back out into the nature.
And even if looking for Bigfoot's not your thing, inherently looking for Bigfoot is a little scary, right? You don't necessarily need to go out and look for Bigfoot. Like, I got into fishing. I never thought I'd be into fishing. I get into survival stuff. I can rub two sticks together and make fire. Like, I didn't even think, like, you asked me 10 years ago if I could do that. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? And now it's like, I can do that. It's like, that stuff is crazy. I never thought and people make fun of me for Bigfooting. Inherently, that's something that people that are jealous, I think, will do, right? But and Bigfooting has opened my eyes to. It's changed my life completely, 180 degrees. My life has changed, but it's allowed me to meet some of the most wonderful people that I've ever met before in my life. It's allowed me to explore some of the most and see some of the most beautiful things that I've never thought that I'd be able to see. And it's all because of Bigfoot, and that's crazy. If you actually sit down and think about that, Bigfoot has drastically changed my life. That's something that not a lot of people can say happens to them.
That's wild. It's wild how you get to do this. I am jealous of you. You get to do something you want to do, man.
Sorry.
You're doing what you love too. What are you talking
about? Yeah, but I had to retire to do it. Yeah. He's a young guy. He's a young guy. My son's about his age.
remember,
You know,
everything
you can't
happens
even
for
do
a
that. When I was
reason.
his age, I couldn't do that.
Anthony, everything happens for a reason.
That is true.
Now I'm like
This is true.
1,002 years old.
Maybe you were going to keep working and drive yourself into the ground and you would never have gotten to where you're at right now to do this. It's all happening for a reason.
Oh, I'm happy with what I'm doing. Are you kidding? I enjoy. Like you enjoy. If you didn't enjoy it, you wouldn't be doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you get to see nature. You get to do a lot of stuff. That's great.
You know, I will tell you though, I did 100 library presentations this year in 2023,
Mhm.
and that was a lot. That was getting to be towards the end there. I was getting a little run down by it, but I'd never once said that, man, I don't want to do this anymore. It's always like it was always that, even if you only get one family that attends a presentation, it's still like, man, maybe I could still get to that one family and just to let them experience something that they could experience.
Yeah.
I do have a website I see in the comments. It's shadowofredeye.com. It's you can find everything from there. My YouTube is at Shadow of Red Eye. Facebook is In the Shadow of Big Red Eye, and we have an awesome Instagram that's all behind the scenes stuff of what we do, Shadow of Red Eye.
I just put your website up. I don't know why it's not up there yet. It might just be.
Cool.
Why is it not coming up? Weird. I'll put it up here too.
Yeah. So I'm serious. I would like to go one time with you. I will try it, but like I said, I won't be able to walk much. I can't fly. I would love to do that.
I got a good spot up in the Catskills we can go to.
Good. Okay. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, just keep me informed on that. That'd be cool. Get all my camping gear back out.
Once the weather gets a little bit warmer, though, I think it's a little too. I personally don't camp when it's under 40 degrees. I don't find that fun. You know, I was just talking about not having
I don't
fun.
blame you.
Yeah, it's not fun for me under 40. Yeah.
Under 40. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, you make a fire and under 40, it's still, you
Nah, it's still
gotta walk away from that fire once in a while, and yeah.
I camped. I was just down a couple weeks ago in the Pine Barrens in South Jersey, and I woke up and it was cold. I mean, I didn't think it was that cold. I don't camp, like I said, in under 40, but I made an exception because it was like our year-end party.
Mhm.
Like I always throw a party for everybody that's involved in the series and filming at the end of the filming season. So I'll throw a party in the Pine Barrens or somewhere, and this was our party, so I couldn't miss it, couldn't cancel it. But I woke up and it was like there was like ice on the tent, like a quarter-inch thick, and I'm like, come on, really, really, this is what I'm doing. So that was my last time camping for the year. So
yeah.
Yeah, shadowofredeye.com. Yeah.
Did I put red eyes? Oh no, that was.
Red eyes. Yeah.
Oh no, I put Shadow of Red. I think Ron typed Shadow of Red Eyes.
Redeye.com.
Yeah, Ron
there you go.
It's I.
One eye.
Okay.
Yeah. Red eye.
No.
So is there anything else that you want to add, or do you want to
Oh,
advertise? Make sure you watch the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out, subscribe. We almost have we're rolling up to 3K, which is
Nice.
wild. Yeah, beyond my most non-imaginable dreams. I never thought I'd have that many followers. So
And both are
I
on
appreciate
YouTube?
it. What's that?
Both shows are on YouTube.
Yep, on YouTube. Squatchables is a fun little docu-series you can check out. Some of the episodes, you have to get the DVD to see all the episodes. That's the way that I make money, type of thing. In the Shadow of Red Eye, shadowofredeye.com, you can check out my upcoming appearances. You can find that really cool map we were talking about. I do have some job openings. I'm looking for people to come out with me this year and actually help me with my expeditions, like a paid thing. So you can find all that information on my website.
That's awesome. Yeah. So everything's on your website. So that's all they have to do is go to your website. They get even your next. Are you done for the season with your libraries?
Yes, I start up. My first library is. I will tell you right now. My first library is in February in Florida, and it is in the Orange Park Library in Orange Park, Florida, and that's February 24th. That's my first presentation of the year. So
Go
if
back
you're in
out.
Orange Park, Florida, it's right by Jacksonville. It's right outside of Jacksonville. So if you're in the Jacksonville area, I hope to see you at my presentation.
That'd be great. That's awesome. And when you're out this way, well, you're from Jersey, so if you ever have any libraries out there that you're doing, let me know.
Yeah, October is the time that I do New Jersey libraries. I think we did I think it was like 25 New Jersey libraries this past October. So definitely I'll keep you in the loop for that for sure.
We have a mutual friend, Richard. I'm saying his name wrong.
Marcella.
Michelle.
Yeah,
Yeah, good friend of mine. Yeah.
yeah,
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 he's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
He's a
I
good
always
guy.
say his name. I'm good friends. I'm always with him on investigations. We've been doing
Oh, cool.
Morristown and everything together. And Ron Iacobetti that was on tonight, and Lourdes
Huh?
Gonzalez. All of us are with him all the time. So yeah,
Cool.
Richard's a great guy. He's really
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he
he's
is.
a good guy.
I've been out squatching with him before. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, because he seen you that you'll be on the show. He gave me a message. Goes, he's such a good guy. He's a great speaker. This and that. I was like, oh, cool.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's
I
great.
thought I met you at the New Jersey Para Unity.
Yeah.
Matter of
Yeah,
fact,
great.
Ron and Lourdes, that's people I was with down the hall. They're
Oh,
the
okay.
StatCom people.
Yeah, cool. Cool. I didn't get a chance. We were so busy. I didn't get a chance to
Mhm.
stop in, but that was a super awesome event. John who put that on, that was great, you know.
Yeah, it was a good event. You know, I don't think he's going to do two days anymore. I think he wants to do one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great event, and I always recommend people to go there.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, worth it for sure.
are you doing any other Paracons or anything like that? Coming up?
Not that's on my schedule for next year. I do a lot of Bigfoot conferences and festivals. I know I'm emceeing the Forest County Bigfoot Festival in Pennsylvania next year, as well as a couple other ones. I know there is. You might be interested in this. Let me see where it is.
Mike, what's the date in February? I'm sorry.
24th is in Orange Park, Florida,
Thank you.
and then on February 10th in Sayreville, there is an iHeart Horror Festival. Did you guys know about that?
I think I seen that one.
Yeah, okay. That should be a good one. I'm going to be there too on that one as well, vending.
I mean, you should. The Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. You should check that out. That's in July.
Send me info and I'll try to get it on my schedule. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'd love to branch out because I do, like I said, I do a lot of Bigfoot ones, but to be honest, where I am the most successful financially wise is when I go to paranormal conventions. I'm like usually the only Bigfooter there. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
That'd be great for you, I think.
That's awesome. I mean, we could. Yeah, I'll send you the information on that because I'm there every year. I have a table.
Cool.
Maureen, she comes, and Ron Lourdes, and all those people. So yeah,
I love how you said that. Maureen just comes. Come walk around.
she just like this one is she bounced off things. Now she came.
I just show up.
She says, "Hey, how you doing?" You know.
Last year I did a speaking event, but this year I don't know. I'm just probably gonna walk around again.
Isn't it nice not to have any responsibilities and just kind of look at things? Yeah.
Just
Yeah, it's
enjoy
nice
it.
every once in a while. Yeah.
Get away from your table and just enjoy it. I mean,
Yeah.
So, Maureen,
Yes.
anything else?
Oh, tomorrow night I am going to be on a podcast, which I think a lot of people that watch us would be really interested in. It is going to be on. It's called Out of the Box on Bradley Powers podcast. It is going to be about. Well, we're kind of going to be teaming up a little bit. He is known for extraterrestrial connections. So that is at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time, if anyone is interested. So I have to figure out what the link is going to be, but you can always look under Out of the Box with Bradley Powers if you'd like to look at that. But I will put up a little link on Dimensions of the Supernatural and on a Little Witchy and on my personal page. And I know I'm friends with a lot of you guys, but if you're interested in that, just check for that or check my pages.
And I want to bring up next week's show that we're having. We're having over 10 guests.
It's going to be like a mini Paracon for Christmas.
Our Christmas show or holiday show. But it's the Christmas show, and we're having over 10 guests there. A lot of the paranormal, and a lot of our past guests that came back to do the show with us, which is going to be awesome. Matter of fact, Richard's going to be on it.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, Richard's going to be on it. So it's going to be a good show. I mean, I'll put out there who's going to be on it on the advertisements, but we're going to have a lot of good guests.
Should we tell them or should we make it a surprise?
Well, let's make a surprise.
Okay.
I'll put the ad out there this week and let them have, it's like a Christmas gift.
It's a good one.
To our audience. We've got a lot of good guests. I can't believe how many great people I got together. We got together for this. So it's going to be a good show. And then we have a New Year's show also. So we got another group of people.
Which is also going to be like a mini Paracon.
Yeah, we're going to have all kinds of stuff going on here.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Mm-hmm. So, this was great tonight. I had a great time.
This was a great show.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was awesome.
I'm not typically into Bigfoot, but you have opened my eyes and made me.
Because you're married to one, that's why.
Again for the second time tonight. Wow.
No, he's a great guy. I like Todd. He's a good guy. That's why I like to mess with him. He likes to kid around. So
his new nickname is going to be Squatchy.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say thank you guys so much for having me. Not only I did open your eyes a little bit, like you just said. I hope that I opened some of your guests' eyes to the world of Bigfoot as well. And if you could, if you enjoy my content, subscribe, give me a subscription over on my YouTube. Really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And guys, I just had a ball, and hopefully I can. You'll have me back at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely we'll have you back. I mean, it's going to be good. Let me know about the when you're going to be around. I'll definitely come and visit you at
sure.
one of the libraries and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'd like to go. I would like to try go out with on one of the investigations with you.
All right,
the woods and stuff like that. I get all the dust off all my equipment. There you
go. Get back into it.
Stuff like that. I got my backpack. Hey, it's like yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Dust off the cobwebs and get back out into nature, right?
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Please take video and update me. This should be interesting. So that was another episode of Dimensions of the Supernatural. Thank you so much, Mike, for being with us. We loved having you. You're always welcome back. Stay tuned for next week. It's going to be a good one. A doozy. This is Maureen Grudzinski of A Little Witchy and my wonderful co-host Anthony Simonelli with Mike Famelant. Anthony?
I just want to tell everybody, when you go out, be safe on these investigations because you want to look for ghosts. You want to be a ghost. Forget about it. Hey.
See you next week.
Good night.
Good night.